Survivor many years ago. Was a big club promoter in LA, and I started a podcast about 7 years ago. It was political in nature. I got very exhausted and upset, regardless of your political affiliation. I had quit the podcast game January 8th, 2021, right after the big insurrection. So it was during COVID. I didn't know really what I was gonna do. I was sort of semi-retired, and my buddy called and was like, yo, have you ever broken cards? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you card breaking? And so he said, yeah, why don't you watch it? So I had collected cards as I was, like most of us in the COVID era. There was a time, a long time where I was alone and was enjoying what was happening with the rebirth of the card industry. So we started breaking cards, and I thought I would do this or be in the hobby or the card game until COVID was over and we all went back to our lives. And what happened for me is that I fell in love with the community of cards, of the community that I had built in my breaker site, right? It was not so much about the hits. It wasn't so much about, look at what we got. It was more about like, oh, there's Sealed and he's having trouble with his kid and he needs to pay the bills. And then there was Joy that would come in. I got a thing, and it was like I created my own sort of community and family with these guys that I break for. And I have to tell you, that is the thing that for me, Mitch really stokes. Like, I don't know if anybody come here if we're gonna get, this isn't gonna be a gotcha interview. I'm not gonna ask him questions to get him in trouble, because believe me, Mitch can get in trouble very quickly, if we all know. That's not what this is about.
That could be a Q&A.
You guys can ask whatever questions, clearly. But what I wanna do is sort of get underneath Mitch, because for me, Mitch is the reason why I'm continuing to do this, or one of the many reasons, but a big reason, because I fell in love with his passion and commitment to the hobby. I've always felt like a little bit of a fraud because I came in when there was this big card boom, right? And in the 2.5 years, and now I understand the dip, and as I'm living through the dip, I feel more connected to you because I know that you've lived through 7 different versions of this in the career of your hobby. So I guess, take me back to the beginning. How did you get into this whole thing?
Card-wise?
Card-wise, how did you?
I started collecting when I was 4 years old. I can actually tell you the first pack was opened at Dodger Stadium.
Were they giving away packs?
No, you buy packs of the stands, getting through a parking lot and dropping some of the cards.
Okay.
I still remember, I was 4. I got doing card shows when I was 16. I got into collecting, I got still collecting in 8, 9, riding my bike down to TG&Y.
Okay, so stop there. When you say I'm 16,
16.
and I'm going to card shows, are you flipping cards?
No, I'm buying and selling cards. I'm setting up a table around the country. Everybody would just kind of, the older guys at the place would just grab me and go, dude, I got Mitch this weekend. They'd come over, pick me up, meet my parents, and talk to them, and say, no, I got them for a weekend. And we'd get one display case, one suitcase of cards, and a bag of clothes. On our way, we'd go from anywhere from Los Angeles to Seattle to Houston, Chicago, set up a little 8-foot table, and you're
Your
off.
parents were letting you go with strange men across the country.
Absolutely.
Wow. Now, was there an entrepreneurial part, where was it about making money, or was it at that point just about collecting guys you like, or what was?
It was more about selling. At the end of the day, it's ABC, and always be closing. It's one of the things I love selling. I mean, since I was 6 years old, 5 years old, and in Hebrew school, selling candy in a suitcase.
There is an entrepreneurial thing that people are either born with or they're not. It's like that you hear about Warren Buffett, who like had his own coin-op machines going when he was 11. Like there is that thing that is born. I don't have it.
Oh, I do.
I know you do. What was the biggest first sale that you had where you were like, holy shit, this is a thing?
Oh, wow.
What was the card?
A 53 Mantle color. creased
How
down
did
the
you get a hold
middle.
of that?
It came by the store at show, and father was just selling giant huge crease in the middle. And I was like, I want this, and it was like $200. It's mine. Pulled that $200 and it was gone. And kept that card for 6 years.
And then you turned it. You sold it for what?
Oh, I don't know. I think it went for in a raffle prize for like $1,000.
Okay.
But we just had fun there. Back in the card, we were all really good. We did mall shows. If you guys are as old as I am,
What
mall
is it?
shows.
Walk me through a mall show.
There were two guys in Los Angeles who used to do mall shows, and they would rent out the middle of the mall, and you'd like want to be in. If you paid the guy a little bit extra, you could be in front of Wet Seal. I always wanted to be next to a couple dealers I really got along with as a kid. We were like, listen, I'll give you $10 if I could just be behind him, because we were just really good friends, and it was like we could watch each other's tables. And it just became, again, we always talk about community. That became the start of the community. And then I did all through high school, through wrestling and through
You were a
college.
big wrestler, right? You were a good wrestler.
I was a really good wrestler, high school and college. And then I got a job, and I turned 19 and met a friend of mine named Billy Mann who owned Airwalk.
The shoe company.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, so he had a few dollars.
Just a few.
Okay. And you were like, oh, let's start a card shop?
No. We get away from cards. We get away from cards for a little while, and we go into shoe business. I started manufacturing and designing shoes and selling shoes.
Got it.
And then, literally, I worked for a snowboard company after that and was selling.
Are you miserable?
I'm not complete, I would say, but I'm happy. I'm selling, doing my thing.
Right.
One morning, I get up and read the Sunday newspaper. The Sunday paper, there's an ad to work at a card shop. Holy shit, I haven't even talked about cards in a couple of years. Go apply, and within 2 days, I fell right back into 1999. And I worked at it and for 6 months, and literally goes, I gotta get out of this guy. This guy who owned the place was toxic. I'm gonna open my own shop.
Why was, when you say toxic, why was he toxic?
He smokes more than you do.
He smokes more than I do.
Yeah, in the store. In the store. So all his comic books, all his cards, you literally like walks in the store and you're like, Joel, go to the back. Just go to the back. Just go.
Okay, so you wanted your own place.
Yep.
How does that happen?
Raised $12,000. Saved $12,000. And at that time,
Is that a lot of money then?
It was a little bit more than now, but because boxes were $100. Every box was $40, $50. And more than $100.
And so 12,000 got you a lease. And got you product.
Shelves, got carpet down, we laid down, we opened in 38 hours. From a vanilla shell, carpet down, shelves in, product, cameras. We had one camera that was the most antiquated camera. I mean, you just didn't work. We had a couple TVs and a phone and a desk, and we started a big giant TV.
And cards at this point, 2000, you said 1990, 2000, they had become different than like when I was a kid in '84 collecting tops, and there were millions and millions of cards run. When was that? When was the start of like inserts and autos and all of that?
92's the first. 92's literally the first autograph in the cards.
And what was that?
That would be the Ted Williams and Reggie Jackson inserts from Upper Deck Heroes.
So there were autos of Ted Williams and Reggie Jackson in an Upper Deck.
Yeah, in 1992. There were inserts coming, numbered stuff started in 1997. The first jersey card, which this is the first jersey card, guys, is Press Pass. Victor Schaefer, if you guys don't know who that is, he's one of the VPs of Fanatics. He's the first jersey card ever. Upper Deck will argue with me to the day I die, but the first memorabilia card is Press Pass from 1997, a race card.
You're not wrong often when it comes to the card business, correct?
Not very.
All right, when was the last time you were wrong in the card business?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't remember when you were wrong?
No. I try to erase that.
Okay, hold on. All right, so let's move forward. I want to know when you meet Ty, because
This is a great story.
Because
she's around somewhere.
Ty really sort of, from my estimation, saved your life. But go ahead.
Yeah. 2016, I'm in a little tiny store in Venice, and in an argument with the landlord constantly about my 2 cats in the building. He's got a 4-story building. He's got 9 dogs, but my cats smell. His dogs do. So Ty comes in. Ty's buying non-sport stuff, and she's a giant New York Knicks fan, buying tons of. And I was just in an argument with the owner of.
When you say non-sports, what kind of stuff was Ty buying?
Oh my God, that would be Ghostbusters, Happy Days.
There were Happy Days cards.
1976, 1978. Star Wars, it's all the nonsense. It's the coolest cards ever. They're just wax packs, piece of gum in it. Again, don't eat the gum, but just really cool stuff back then.
So
Facts
she's
of
in the
Life.
shop.
Yeah, and she sees me in an argument, and she's like, "Are you looking for a partner?" I'm terrible with partners. Awful with them.
Why?
Because I try not to be wrong. Some people don't like that, but at the end of the day, this is a little known fact. My mom was my very, very, very best friend in the world. And there's not a day that goes by that you don't miss her. So I can't disrespect a woman. Ever. Never, ever, ever would. So I sit down. God, a woman, I can't disrespect her. Okay, let's sit down. Went on papers, we were a couple thousand apart. Done. Let's just get it done. We ended up moving, and she really didn't want to be in the industry. She really wanted to just be behind it. And then she just, again, fell in love with what was going on. And she believed in me, and it just took us to a whole nother level. She is, if you've not met her, meet her. She is brilliant. She is the leader of the women of the hobby group. She is unbelievable. Brilliant.
She's a pretty magical woman, but her best attribute is that she softens you because the grumps and this and that, but you fucking truly do have a heart of gold, and you are an expert when it comes to this stuff. You really are. I mean, there isn't anybody. I remember because I got into the hobby. I bought my son was 12. It was 2003, the rookie year, LeBron's rookie year, and I bought a box of cards, and we got a LeBron James rookie autograph. And I remember, we didn't know what we were doing. We put it in that big press block, and we took it home, and it sat on his thing for 15 years. And we found it, we got it graded, it was a 7, we cracked it, sent it back, it got a 9, which, by the way, can you explain grading at all? Explain grading to me. A LeBron rookie gets a 7. Mm-hmm. I have no reason not to crack it. I crack it and send it back, and it gets a 9. How is that possible?
Human.
So grading
is subjectable. All of it is.
So if a guy gets in a fight with his wife the night before, and he comes into the office, and he sees my card, and he's in a bad mood because he didn't get a raise, I get a 7. Is that going to get fixed? Does that need to get fixed?
Yes, it's not going to. It needs to be, but the AI development that Tag is doing, I don't really understand. It's really difficult to do that with artificial intelligence or a computer. The amount of knowledge that computer's got to have and got to do to monitor every other card is almost impossible.
But with all of the money now that's in and again, I would imagine the hobby is as big as it's ever been, even though we're in a dip. The money around it and the people and the collecting and the value of stuff. You don't think there's somebody that's going to get this proper?
Well, that's what they've been trying to do. Like, again, Tag, really great people. I just don't think it's ready to do a total digital artificial intelligence way of scanning in a card and seeing it.
Got it.
With scratches, services, it's got to get looked. And again, it's a human eye. It is again. They have better lighting than you. They've been trained as good as they can. But at the end of the day, it's still a human.
What advice do you have for people like maybe some others? We're in a dip in the industry, or the hobby is in a dip. I know we've come out of a massive jump and a dip, but you've lived through these dips before, correct?
Yes.
And you just have to fucking keep your head down and stick it out.
You have to pivot. You remember Friends when Ross was carrying up the couch? Pivot! Pivot! You have to learn. Back a year ago, we could just literally pull out, open a box of cards, sit down on a break and go, $2,000. And you went, done, sold. Now it's more $400, $500, $200, $500 moves. It's taking your profits, cutting it down to 25%, and turning twice as much product for less profit, but you're turning. Looking for products, looking for deals, get it out, move. You can't sit on, I'm the worst one to say this, but you can't sit on product. You can't. I'm the worst person to say that in the fucking planet. I am a hoarder at very best. I love inventory. I'm one of those people that I want anybody to come in our store and look and go, they have it. That's the difference between, but I can do that because I can still move enough product. And my allocations are really good and I'm always buying. So I can move enough product to stay alive and everything else, so I don't have a problem with that. But for small stores that are just getting allocations and just getting going, it's turning, moving product, building that community around it. I say it all the time. So it's building a community that guys come in. We let people come in our store when, like, we have my friend Sharon, she's not here, she's somewhere around here. Hi Sharon. She comes to the store and she buys cards from people online. They meet somewhere, like a 7-Eleven. Like, what are you, crazy? You just sold $25,000 sharing your 5'4". You weigh 115 pounds. Somebody's gonna just literally just move you out of the way and take the card. Meet here. The amount of stuff that people come in and walk into your store like, I didn't even know this place existed. Give me a box of that, and they're like, oh, cool. Just made another couple $1,000 because they didn't know they could come here and meet. So again, building community, let them have a sit down, be my guest. The rule we have in our shop is rule 1, don't be a dick. Rule 2, see rule 1. That's pretty much about it. But
how was the hobby before the internet? Explain, because I would imagine there's some people that know before the internet, but
let's see. Sports Cards Digest. Do you remember Sports Cards Digest? The paper that had ads out. That you would like literally come out and be like 2 weeks late and you open up the paper like, oh my god, this guy's got 1974 fourth year Rod Carew cards at 95 cents. Pick up the phone, you call the guy like, hey, do you still have those? Yeah, cool. Can you send them out? And you'd send him a check. This is way before PayPal and before any wiring work. It was work. It was a lot of, and nobody had more than $125 box. You had people that, like SPF Fennec was like the highest box, 125. So like Exquisite, when it came out in 03, everybody was like, oh shit.
How much was Exquisite?
$500.
And that was blew people's heads off.
I have that in my store. I was like, I got 9 of them. This guy will take 1. This guy's gonna take 2, and nobody thought, again, the production-wise, nobody cared. And then the first guy went through a couple boxes, and you're like, oh shit. Call up Renee, you're like, hey, can I get a couple extra cases? And you call every distributor, you're like, can I get a couple more? And it just kind of, that was like literally, and then like the crazy boom was like the 03 for Topps Chrome. It was $165, and it was selling for $500-600 immediately when it came out, and then it just kind of kept going. And
so that was that the first like, whoa, you can make real money in this business?
Yeah, it was the first time that things were.
You tell a great story about you and Harry needing like 1,700.
Oh God.
Tell this story because it's
fucking amazing. And we were again. This is 2009, 2010 when in the industry was struggling. You were trying to just make rent.
Is that the worst dip ever? Or is this one as bad?
No, this one's not that bad. This one, you can still move. There's still people and there's still money in this industry. You just have to work harder to get it. You can't just sit back and go, hey guys, come buy my shit.
So 08 was rough.
08, 09, 10 were really different. So my buddy Harry is one of my managers who does all the gaming stuff and does our sleeving. If you watch our live, he's the wizard. Harry's running the gaming side and I'm running the sports. And I'm like, Harry, we need $4,700 by Friday. It's Tuesday afternoon, or our rent's late and everything else. I'm like, how the hell are we gonna do this? So I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. And we just literally called everybody, pushed, and literally Thursday night about midnight, we got to our $4,700. Okay, next week, and it was just a struggle to try to get. Now it's like, yeah, we'll just keep going. Money, banks filled, we're good. Coffers are good, more product.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Fanatics and the future of the industry, because they are married, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so
Oh, boy.
how about this?
If you guys didn't know, I can't. I don't tell lies. I can't. It doesn't come out. It doesn't come out. You'll know if I lie. You'll be like, huh, he's lying.
Right, but I think you're doing as good. I think you're we're close. We're friends
Yes,
now.
absolutely. We are.
And so I know how hard it is for you to watch new change, and I know and you're doing the best that you can to roll with the punches, but also give them as much of your knowledge and information and expertise as you can. Would you say that's
Yes. I mean, you were
correct?
you were in the store when one of the guys from Fanatics came in.
And he's amazing, and I think that they're reaching out. I mean, for Fanatics to have a guy sitting in your shop at 12:05 means they're committed to what I think is the heart and soul. No matter what, it's always going to be about a dad taking a kid into a shop to buy a card.
That's supposed to be. Yes.
I mean, if we lose track of that,
They've been talking about doing that. Thompson, Upper Deck, and Aaron Donners have been talking about doing a painting like that with a father with a kid walking on the baseball for 20 years. If you're going to do that, if you're going to use that analogy, the problem is then stop fucking making $2,000 boxes and making $50 boxes so the kids can afford it.
do they
4
make-
years ago, it blew up, and you just price the kids right out. So it's not gonna, and it's not going back. It's not going back to the kids. I mean, Fanatics and Tops and Panini, and they're not going back to the kids. It's too difficult.
Is there a
It's
different
retail.
relationship that a kid and his dad has now online? He gets on a breaker site, and the cards are just now 300 for. Because you can get into the game if you're. I have a kid who's 13. He gets permission from his parents. He's in a $60 break here and a $40 break there. Is there any way to focus like on that a little bit? Because I really think.
Well, getting kids cards in hand are so much of a better idea than the breaks. As much as we do breaking, I want a kid to open up cards, but most of the kids now have got so money savvy that they just look, how much is that worth? Nope, not worth that. And that's one of the problems that we have in our industry is teaching these kids that collect what you like, collect what you want. What's your favorite player? I mean, that's one of the first couple things that I talk about with kids is hobby boxes are really expensive. If you can't afford it, there's a wall of retail, and you have to kind of guide them to their path of where you want to be. It's one of those things that it's really difficult. I mean, just in my two stores that I work in all the time, Burbank and in LA, completely different customers. It's crazy. It's completely different customers. Guys in LA want boxes. They want boxes. They want hobby boxes. They want big. Guys in Burbank want to check dollar cards and $2 cards and $3 cards. It's really a weird thing, but we don't sell, and it's just two completely different areas. And it's fine. I mean, it's what we do.
What's your favorite product?
One word: cup. You can argue to the day. It's whatever year you want to do. Cup hockey from Upper Deck is the best product ever made. Period. There's no argument. There's no discussion. You didn't believe me until you opened one box and saw it and went, "Oh Christ!"
I did. I had not been around for. I just was listening to him, and Craig.
He thought it was completely wrong.
He was like, cup hockey. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Like, he's ridiculous. He must be a hockey fan. They just came recently, right?
2021 came out.
They are the best cards in the world. They're the fucking most beautiful cards in the world.
Think if Upper Deck had exquisite basketball packs. We'd all be, like I told the guy, the PA from basketball last couple of years, what kind of car do you drive? Like if Upper Deck had a basketball license, they'd have a better car.
And why is exquisite? Why is that? Talk to me. Why is that not out? Why don't they bring that
They
back?
can't. They only have hockey, which is cup.
Got it.
So they can't do basketball, they can't do baseball. In 2009, they lost their license because that's a whole other story. Their owner, Richard McWilliams, got really heavy into me. Why am I not making money? The company's making tons of money. He wasn't making money. He couldn't figure out why. Why am I not making money? Well, the company you own is making a fortune, and you are a star upon stars. No, I need money. Then started kind of cutting corners and doing other things.
Cutting corners is never good.
No, Upper Deck v. lawsuit.
All right, so Topps, Fanatics is bought Topps,
Correct.
and they have both.
Yeah, that's part of this.
So my question is this: are we going to see Topps Chrome basketball, Topps Chrome football? Is that coming?
Probably 2026 you'll see football. 2020, 24, 25 you'll see basketball. You're gonna see the Topps Chrome McDonald's thing. The game that just was played. You'll see that in like September. You will see some basketball coming when Topps and Fanatics take over the license from Panini in the next year or so.
Advice to collectors, not the crazy high-end stuff. Is it Prism? Is it Optic? Is it Select? Of those three, what do you think is, if you're a collector?
Prism took over for Topps Chrome. Chrome is still the best product. From a baseline product, Topps Chrome is still the best product. I mean, baseball, except if they screwed up the goddamn rookies again for the second year in a row.
Wait, hold on. They did that 2 years in a row?
Nobody remembers this.
I mean, just having words. You have to explain how someone fucks this up. Excuse my language.
That's a really good question.
How does that happen?
Do you guys remember Jared Kelnick?
Yeah.
Nobody remembers that. You go, wait, you guys didn't
Explain.
relax.
Walk us through it.
They just didn't put him into products. Jared Kelnick, arguably one of the top prospects at this point. Yeah, and they just forgot. I don't know. Topps printing facility they don't really edit very well. 2017, Topps Chrome, they almost didn't put Bellinger. Bless you. Bellinger literally came up in the end of April. He was hitting 350 and hitting dongs all day long, and Chrome doesn't come out until September. They didn't put him in. They almost didn't. And you're like, wait, you can fix things really quickly if you know what you're doing.
If I'm chasing Wander inserts and I'm chasing
Like a Bowman's Best Wander Superfractor?
Wander, Bobby Witt, Julio that was not in Topps Chrome. What's the best product to chase that in? Is it Ben Baller? Is it what's that Chrome?
Like which one do you want?
What do they? Is it Topps Update? Have they made up for that? Have they got it they've got those inserts anywhere that I can?
Sapphire's got some. I mean, Julio's got autographs and everything. He's in Topps Chrome, but he only has the Aqua autograph, and he's got a couple other autographs, but his base cards aren't. That was their big screw. They forgot to put the short prints, which just literally killed the market, and literally the MVP thing came from that. I get into arguments all the time with people at Topps for that one.
Where do you see us in 3 years and 5 years?
3 years and 5 years. It all depends on the rookie class. And if at the end of the day, it all depends on the rookie class. That's no matter what you want to say, what you want to do. We had a great run in basketball from 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20. 21, Edwards and LaMelo's, whatever LaMelo. And you go on McCade and you had...
But I would argue 22 was a pretty decent year, was it not?
For what? For football or for basketball?
You have Jalen Green.
But we don't have products. We have half the products. I mean, you have Fanatics coming in, and if you guys don't know, Fanatics bought Graphic Converters in Texas. Nobody knew it for like 3 months. So Panini has a problem printing right now. This is another thing that nobody likes to talk about. So Panini is trying to get more time to print. They found a new printer. Upper Deck found another printer in Mexico, I believe. Panini's working with some other printer. I don't know exactly where right now. Pokemon does it out of North Carolina. But printing's really tough. And again, finding chromium cards is really difficult. The chromium press is really difficult.
What would you do if you weren't doing this? You couldn't do anything else.
No. I mean,
There's nothing else for you to do. You are. This is also what's attractive about you. And I know you like I know the exterior and grumpy and this and that, but you are super attractive because there are people in life that are doing what they were born to do. Doesn't matter if they're digging ditches. It doesn't matter if they're building houses. Doesn't matter if they're actors. You were put on the planet to be this guy.
yeah.
So if you were gonna do it, could you do anything else?
We talked about a year ago, if I ever sold the business, and what would I do? I would probably travel the world and live 3 months a year all over the world. Just rent a condo on the beach and sit and have a couple beers every morning and do something. But again, probably 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, I'd be back doing something. I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I get up at about 5:30. I get going. I'm at the shop at 8.
You're never sleeping. If I text him at 4, he answers. If I text him at 8 in the afternoon,
I don't know how to turn off my phone. There's no vibrator
you're
on my
never
phone.
sleeping.
Yeah, I don't. If you guys have ever been in my show, you know I don't sleep. I usually just pass out for 15 minutes. But I leave the shop. I get there about 8:30. Ty and I have a cup of coffee together. We sit and talk. We go over what the next week is about. Make sure we get product in the cases. Make sure everything's in the wall where I want it. We open at 1 o'clock. UPS comes in, unpack that. 1 o'clock we open. 7 o'clock we close. 7 to 7:30 I get something to bite to eat, and we go on our breaks until 2 or 3 in the morning. And there are people who show up at the shop at midnight, 1 o'clock, like, Mitch, yeah? I just got off the plane, can I come and buy you? Sure, come on in, hang out. They'll come and pick a product, I'm just there at 2:30, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go home. Get up, go home, hour to wind down, get up, let's go again.
Do you have regrets about the last? Is there anything you regret badly about the last 30? Is there something that happened? You were like, "Fuck! I wish I could have done that better," or "I wish I could have I could have zagged when I."
With the industry wise, or
just like with
or card.
I mean, we'll get to the card, but like, is there a thing that you were really off on that you were like, God, I wish I could have seen that coming? No.
No,
Okay.
I'm going literally, maybe only buying, like, stuff I only bought like 10, 12 cases, I could have bought 15, but
Stuff
no.
like that. Yeah.
All
right, card wise, I know there's a good one.
This one still hurts. Guy walks in, the guy who's actually filming us right now, the one over there, his father sold me the card.
We're doing this card right now? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I gave, you guys walked in, he pulled a 16 Bowman Chrome Juan Soto red. 1 of 5. In 2016, Juan Soto looked like a little toy. So I buy it from him for like $600, put it in my desk drawer, and leave it. I'm going through my desk drawer to pull out. That's one of the worst things you can do also as a card shop owner, as advice. Don't have a desk drawer with cards. Just don't. It cost me rent 1 month because I was like, why am I? Oh, the desk drawer. Pulled out the Soto. I sold the Soto for like $1,500 or $1,800 in 2018. Card got a 9.5. Card the highest it went for was just under $250,000. I try not to dwell on that, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult not to like look up and in the morning like, oh fuck that card. I try not to, but I can't remember anything about stuff that I have done right. I usually remember everything I do wrong, but that's being a perfectionist like I am. When it comes to this industry, I talk about that constantly. Just move on. Don't look back. Don't do me. Don't do me.
You really believe in the because I know that people are like definitely not looking to expand currently, right? And you have taken on a massive, massive undertaking. If you want to talk about that for a minute.
How the industry is right now, we want to get back to doing fun. So it's either you close down, tighten the belt up a bit, or just go stupid and go completely on the other end. And we are doing that. Sometime if you guys come over by the weekend, I'll show you a video of the new store. It is something unreal. Ty found us space, and we've been negotiating for 2.5 months. There's a half-court of basketball, the former gym. It's 10,000 square feet. With trade nights, card shows. We're gonna do conferences. We're gonna actually bring out people for a 2-day, 1-night event. So we're gonna get Tops, Fanatics, we're gonna get Tops, Fanatics, Upper Deck, anybody who wants to speak, and it's gonna be people, it's gonna be customers. If you're building a product, if you're like, God, I got an idea for a product, that's where you come. It's not gonna cost you anything, you come in, hang out, everything, pick your brain. It's gonna be like the funnest thing in the world. We wanna go back to doing fun. And the idea is nobody wants to leave. Everybody wants to close. No, we're not gonna close an hour. Shop's gonna be open every day. We're open every day anyway, but we're just gonna go for fun. And it's either the greatest idea or the stupidest idea. We'll know in about 6 to 8 months.
It's been great. Does anybody have questions?
You'll know that they're hiring people that don't know the past 15 years. We had some really smart people in this industry. You've been in the industry as long as I have, or 10 years, 12 years. You know, we had some really smart people. We had some really great ideas. And I think they're going back and they're going, we've done this. And you're like, that idea's been done. And they don't know. And that's what I'm trying to inspire them to understand, that there is so much more to this industry. There's so many things that we could be doing. A couple of the ideas that I love that they just don't, and I'm like, I think you guys are missing the boat.
What are they?
I have an idea with actors and actresses and players to meet and greet that they just don't like as a redemption. For instance, I'll ask you guys. Here we go. So if you had a product that you could build, no, it doesn't affect products that's not expired. You have 2 years. 2 years before the lunch and the meet. If you're on the East Coast, maybe Walt Frazier. You have to have lunch, meet and greet, take pictures with Walt Frazier and have lunch with him. 10 people. Derek Fisher, you know where Derek Fisher is, you know where Walt Frazier is. He's always going to be in New York. Derek Fisher's always going to be in LA. And you can do athletes, and you can do movie stars. If you haven't met any movie stars, they love the real people. They hate the press, but they will sit down and talk to you forever. As long as you don't pull out an autograph, usually most celebrities are really cool. So this idea of making more entertainment cards and having that experience, again, we're all about experience. To meet, like, and again, you can build a website, you can trade back and forth. If I live in New York and I don't really want to meet Derek Fisher, I'm like, well, I want to trade this card. So what would I trade it for? Oh my God, there's Walt Frazier in New York. You want to trade, and they trade back and forth on a website that they could be building. How cool would that be? To meet your idol or meet anybody. You can do former athletes would be better because you know where they are. And again, James Worthy, 10 grand. Hey, James, here's $10,000. You get to sit in with 10 people and you get to sit and talk to them. All right, there you go. You get to have lunch in Beverly Hills and eat whatever the hell you want and say whatever you want. Just a cool idea. The ideas of that kind of thing we've tried to put together, and I would imagine Ty has an idea sometime in the next future. She will be doing that with sporting events. I have an idea for her with that. But that's an idea that I come up with, and FedEx kind of looks at me and shakes her head, no way. That's all. I can't figure out why. But that's an idea I would love to see. And it's
not a bad idea. I back that idea. I thought about it at first, and I was like, really? And then, yeah, you know what? The people would like that. I agree with that idea.
I mean, how would you ask me to meet like Tobey Maguire?
It'd be fun. It'd be fun. Okay, how about this? You don't collect cards, which I find fucking fascinating.
I collect 2 cards.
You collect 2 cards.
It's 2 cards in my collection. It'll get to 6 or 7 in the next couple months.
And you just didn't get into the collecting of old people that you love. And like, you don't collect cards. It's fascinating.
Okay, I collect high-end wax. If you've been in our store, there's one display case, and you've seen it. The one display case is about $1.5 million. It's 96, 97 tops chrome, 0304 exquisite, 0304 tops chrome. 12 Prism, 17 Prism, 17 NT football. It's when we sell about one a week, one box of those a week, and man, it's great. I'm like, cool, we sold stuff. How do I fix that hole? What do I gotta go find? And so I work on trying to find that stuff constantly.
Who did you collect when you were a kid?
When I was a kid,
Like, you're a hockey guy,
Mm-hmm.
primarily, right? But baseball, football, I know you know sports very well. You don't know as much about football as I do, but basketball and baseball, you're like an encyclopedia. Breathe in, breathe out. You didn't collect guys when you were a kid? Like you didn't?
I was a Giant Rams fan. I was a Giants Rams fan when I was a kid. When I met players, I worked for the NHL for a few years in the early '90s, and I met players. Instead of collecting cards, I could just pick them from a call. That was like surreal for me. Like, wait, I know him. I don't need to collect his cards. I know
It's so
him.
bizarre. It's sort of like a rock band. It's sort of like guys that are in rock bands. They don't really like watching other rock bands. It's just weird that you are the biggest guy in LA and you don't have a card collection except for
Steve Irwin and his wife. I'm a giant animal lover, so Steve Irwin, I have a 9.5, and that's the one card that is mine. And the guy who sent me a picture of it, he goes like,
what
This is
product
the-
did you put? What product is Steve Irwin in?
he was in a Rittenhouse product for Crocodile.
So
And I didn't care what it was. I was like, how much you want for it? He goes, well, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Just tell me what you want. I'll pay PayPal.
was it an auto?
Yeah, it's an Honor 9.5, and I got a wife. I want the kid to get a card. I want the kid to get a card because it would just be perfect. And the other thing that I collect would be, I used to collect Harry Potter stuff, but my partner Ty collects it more than I do, so I give her all my.
We have like some nice cards together though.
Yeah, but most of them are all yours because I just give it to you.
So you do have a little bit of a PC. It's just commandeered by Ty.
Yeah, and then the other ones are fans of the game. Remember 04, 05, 03, 04, 05, fans of the game. The coolest cards. I mean, there's one that I'm looking for. If anybody ever has it, please. James Gandolfini. He has an autograph. I don't want the Phelps. I have the Jenny Finch already, but I want the Gandolfini. It's the one I really, really want. But that would pretty much finish my collection. There's not much other stuff there's stuff that I'll keep because I think it's going to go up, but it's for sale.
Right. So there's not a guy in a PC where you're like, you know what, I really love this guy and this card and I want this to be mine. You don't.
No.
Everything is just.
I got it. Because if I start my collecting bug, it's going to get bad. I used to collect, like Dwayne Wade. I love. So I used to collect Dwayne Wade. I used to collect T206s, and all of a sudden I couldn't pay rent. Like, why can't I pay rent? Our numbers are fine. Oh, it's the desk drawer. Fuck.
He still has a desk drawer, but it's all for sale.
Yep. Because it was just too difficult. You can't. It's really difficult to separate. So as a store for stores, it's difficult. If you can do it, great. I can't. So that's why we just move.
We're here to open the weekend. Clearly, what should we do this weekend? What should we get into? If we are going to go see anything, give us Mitch's idea about how to have the best time at the Mint.
Make sure you go to the Saturday party. Come see our wheel. We're giving a bunch of shit away. At our booth.
312.
312. It's we've been spending. I think we've probably put 7 hours already building it. There's lots of stuff that we're giving away. There's a repack product, but just go ask questions of everybody. Have fun. And again, collect what you. I mean, there's got to be every one of you guys. There's got to be one card you go, that's mine. I want it. Don't worry about price. You'll make it back up. Collect what you want. Take that card home. If you collect, find that card. And if you have a shop, just work harder. Be a little better. One of the things I always talk about, just be better. And appreciate what we get to do every day. Because after I do my live every night, the first thing I say to everybody is I appreciate everybody spending their hard-earned money with us. And we'll be back tomorrow. And we'll be back the next day. I love what I get to do. So retiring, probably not. I'll probably die with a card in my hand. Just like tip over when I'm like eating.
So we can talk that down a little. All right, I think we're good.
Any other questions?
Any questions at all?
Nope, we got one.
Shoot.
Josh?